Now. And we got
we're waiting, saying hi to people. Brian Brooks, how are you doing, sir? Ed?
silent.
Hello. Hello.
Hey,
And
Brian.
there's
Hello, Brian,
Lee.
how are you?
I'm okay. Glad to be here.
Good.
I'm
Good to see you.
glad to see everybody. I see Ed Lees. How you doing?
Ed sees you.
Good, Judd. How you doing?
Very good.
Good.
Barbara Bograd. Bograd. Did I get it close?
Close enough. Bogorod.
She's being
Bogorod.
very kind.
Bograd. Yeah. Yeah. Are you new? Have you been here before?
I think I've been to this meeting maybe once or twice. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I've been.
You have.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually she's hanging out with the WNA crowd.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go with the high quality group. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
go with what I
we're the
can get to.
JV.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, people are still coming in.
Yeah.
Good. I've got 2:01. You want to give it another 2 minutes or
1 more minute,
One more minute. Oh,
we're
gosh.
recording?
and then we'll go to showtime.
Great.
Carolyn, how are you?
Doing good.
Are you new? I don't remember.
I've been a handful of times, but I've also been so busy pretty much through the summer that I have not been here in quite a while.
All right, well, we've missed you, or I've missed you.
Yeah,
Maybe
don't-
when I call on new attendees, Barbara and Carolyn can mention who they are and how their summer was and how their PN's going.
don't get discouraged. Bill's known me for 10 years and he says, I don't remember you a lot. So it's just the way things are.
There's Meredith. Hey.
Okay, folks, we're going to start, and my name is Bill Porter. I'm live from Richmond, Virginia, where it's finally stopped raining and it's sunny. Judge, just pull up the what we're going to do. You can read that. It's we're having open discussion. Then we got some comments that are coming from Pat. Oh, by the way, Pat will join us later around 3 o'clock. Glenn, and then we're going into overtime. Anyway, okay. Anyway, so we're going to start out after I just finish saying some things. We'll go to new attendees or people who have been away from us for a while. Anyway, you can take that down, Judd,
Okay.
unless anyone has any questions. Anyway, I missed October because I was in the Outer Banks, and I'm sorry to say that the Outer Banks is the oceans down in the Outer Banks are claiming the southern banks, and they're still eroding. And while I was down there were 21 homes that went in the water. It's very sad, but people who bought there 30 years ago who were semi-ocean are now oceanfront. So it's a tough thing. But anyway, it was, I've been going to the Outer Banks for 50 years, and it was the first time that I've never been able to swim in the ocean because the red flags were up. And the ocean looked like an egg beater was in there. But anyway,
Bill, where were you?
I was down in, luckily I was in Duck. I was
Okay.
stuck in Duck, as I say, but the southern banks of Hatteras, Rodanthe, and Buxton are really taking a big hit. In fact, for those who don't know, the Hatteras Lighthouse was moved in 1999 about 1,500 yards away from the ocean to keep it from going into the ocean. So anyway, let me see.
Mary,
I
Mary's
hope
trying to
everyone
get
had
your
a nice
attention.
summer, and I hope everyone had a nice or having a nice fall. Speaking of fall, don't remember to fall back tonight.
Oh, yeah.
You get an hour's sleep. It takes a lot of people to get back to normal, but what doctors tell me is take it about 15 minutes a day, and you'll start feeling pretty good. Anyway, I want to stop there and just say I would like to. Are there any new attendees? All right,
everybody.
Tom, I know you're not really Tom. What's
Tom.
your name?
My
Okay,
name is
first off,
Karen. My name is Karen, Karen.
can you, Karen Spence?
That's correct.
All right, what I like on new attendees is just say your name, which of course you just did, where you're located, your type of neuropathy, how'd you hear about us, and then talk about your neuropathy. So Karen, go ahead.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes, I live in McLean, Virginia. And I think I was first diagnosed probably in about 2013. So everything was pretty normal for a very long time. And I'm ambulatory and pretty active and play a little tennis and so forth. So, but the balance is not 100%. And when we get to the questions, I have some basic questions I wanted to ask. So,
Okay,
say
Karen,
you-
how'd you hear about us?
oh, how did I hear about you? I think I'm a physical therapist by profession. And so I was looking online about peripheral neuropathy support group, and this came up. And so I thought I'd inquire.
Okay, now I'm just curious, what type of physical therapist are you? Do you specialize in a certain?
Oh, well, I'm of course retired now, but it was a rehab primarily. It was acute care and rehab, spinal cord injuries, amputees, strokes, that sort of thing primarily, but also short-term acute care.
All right, do you work full time?
No, I don't work. I'm retired.
Oh, you're retired. Okay.
Yeah.
Quite a few people.
Can I ask a question?
Does anyone have any questions for Karen?
I do. Karen, when you were diagnosed, what did the doctor or doctors say to you to expect what the course of the condition would be for you? Did they offer you any long-term advice or anything?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's Mike. Well, I didn't feel this particular doctor was super encouraging. It sounded like things aren't going to get too much better and probably have a progression. And I'm interested in hearing about your situations too. I have gone into exercise program through PT, and I am actually going to see a specialist in DC in neuropathy at the end of January. It took a little while to get an appointment. So I'm actually interested in that. I'm sort of interested in knowing how much genetics plays into peripheral neuropathy. And maybe some of you could help me with that if you have any insight on it. Anyway, I'm not sure I answered your question, Mike. Did I?
Somewhat. The doctor did encourage you to exercise?
Well, this was a long time ago. I just really wanted to get a diagnosis because I knew something wasn't quite right as far as sensation. And so it was a diagnosis, but I pretty much went about my ordinary life, for years and years.
Yeah.
And so, but I had asked her about support groups and so forth, and she did not know of anything. So, I think it's important to have neurologists know about this support group because I think it's a really good thing. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Reason I asked you is I was diagnosed in 1997
mhm.
and told essentially nothing other than that, you might lose sensation in your feet or your arms or your hands, and that was it. And I like to monitor has it changed? Are the doctors more aware of what can be done? So you don't remember him and this doctor encouraging you to exercise. That I think that certainly was the case in 1997. I just wondered whether it changed by 2013.
Yeah, well, I was pretty active and, playing a lot of tennis and that sort of thing. So there really wasn't that sort of encouragement, but because she knew my background. But at some point I did ask about support group and she was not forthcoming about that because she didn't really know. So
Also, you say you were wondering whether it was genetic. Do you have other people that you know of in your family or related that have some?
Well, possibly my father. Of course, he passed a while ago. But in reading through some of his medical records, there does seem to be some sort of an indication about peripheral neuropathy. So this, and so I just didn't know what the situation was with some of you
All
or
right,
your
Karen,
doctors. Mhm.
Karen, we'll get back to you. Let me and answer your question. Let's go to Barbara. What about you? I know you're new. I mean, you've been here before, but what's the latest update on your situation?
This Barbara, you're talking to me.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm in a peculiar spot, I guess, or maybe not. I don't know. I was being worked up for other things. I got diagnosed in April, just this past April, with anti-MAG, IgM anti-MAG, and I also have a whole bunch of other IgM stuff. And I'm still waiting to see a specialist. So the soonest appointment I could get is coming up in December. And I'm getting worse. I always feel like, I'm demyelinating as we speak. And I don't know anybody else who has anti-MAG. Apparently, Glenn mentioned there's somebody in this group who does, but he's not here today. And so I love the support groups. I think they're wonderful and informative and supportive. But I've just been really, really frustrated that I feel like I'm just getting worse. And I've been doing everything I can to try to find other doctors. And it has not gone well. And in running tests, like different people ran different tests because nobody knows anti-MAG. None of the doctors that I've seen are familiar with it. So people have run other tests and MRIs and stuff and found other things wrong with me because I have a ridiculous medical background. But I'm sorry, I'm frustrated because I can't find anyone who has what I have, and I can't get to the doctor yet. And so it's just frustrating. The only possible thing that's coming up that might help, and I'm not expecting much, two different doctors referred me to Mayo Clinic because they didn't know what to do with me. And I had all these virtual meetings set up, and those have been canceled because I have Medicare and Medicare doesn't do telehealth anymore. And they do want me to come in person and see like 5 different departments. And I have no one to go with me, and I fall down a lot. And so I haven't figured out if I can do that or how I can do that. So that's, if I keep talking, I'm just going to repeat myself.
No,
So
that's all right.
um,
Has anyone got any questions right now for
Where
Barbara?
does she live?
I'm recently moved to Aurora in Colorado,
Oh, wow.
and originally from New York.
I can't pick you up there, sorry.
Yeah.
I
If
would've been
if she was
so-
still in New York here with me, I would have had her in Weill Cornell by now. But unfortunately,
Right. And I just had another set of labs come back, and the anti-mag numbers go up to extreme and then down to medium and up and down. And I for these appointments coming up, I mean, it's so bizarre. I was hoping they would be really bad, because if they were really bad, maybe somebody would be willing to treat me or take me seriously. And they weren't terrible. They'd fallen back to the medium range. And I know the next 3 months from now, they'll be back up high, but that'll be after the appointments. So it'll be too late. And I
Glenn,
can't
can you
walk.
fill us in on Annie Mag?
Well,
And-
yes, I wanted to mention about Lou Massaway,
Yeah.
which I know Glenn put today in the chat, and I've mentioned him before. He's with the Foundation for Peripheral Neuropathy, and this original group that Mike and others had going for a number of years in person before COVID, he was very much a member in there too. But I mean, he's the only person I think I know of that has anti-mag, but he would be a great person to talk to.
Yeah. Is there a way I can find him or something? Or
Can you do that, Glenn? Is there possibly through the foundation, right?
yeah. I mean, Lou, there's a whole story behind that. When Lou was the chair of that board of directors, and I am, of course, a part of the WNA board of directors, they seem to want to avoid us completely. I never got to sit down with him, but maybe Barbara would have better luck as a patient just to get a little bit, of an idea of what he's dealt with from the patient perspective. The sad thing about Barbara's situation, and Barbara does come to a lot of the WNA groups, is that no titer of anti-mag is normal. And I have expressed my anger many times as to why the doctors there have not started her on some sort of immune modulating therapy to this point. Contraindications aside, certainly in the realm of specialty centers, Hopkins or Weill Cornell or Jacksonville Shands or Chicago Northwestern Jack Miller Center, somebody with both an anti-mag titer and I believe, Barbara, you also have a degree of MGUS, right? Monoclonal gammopathy.
I have IgM lambda MGUS, and I'd also tested positive for GM1 IgM, which is
See.
even more rare, bizarrely
Yes.
rare.
And is often associated with motor predominant neuropathies. And there's no reason they shouldn't have evaluated her for immune modulating
Right.
therapy.
So I can't really walk. I mean, I can walk like a few steps. I can stand for maybe 10 seconds, and then my legs buckle and I start to shake and I fall down. So I've collapsed in various public places. And that's, for me, that's worse than the pain. And I've had pain, neuropathy, tingling and burning thigh and all sorts, cold feels, wet, all sorts of things for many years. And I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was part of something else. But the not being able to walk prevents it. It just has decimated my personal life and my social life. I'm in a new community. All people know about me is that I can't really walk. So they go to sports and activities and hiking and stuff, and I just don't get invited. And that's been harder on me than anything else.
Lou has talked a lot about that isolation and that loneliness of it's like there was just no one else kind of to relate to. If you need an intro chat with him, I know he's doing living wills over there with the peripheral neuropathy. So tell him you want to know about that or whatever. But seriously, he will. I think that could be a good connection. If anybody knows of any current stuff, it might be him. But I also hear Glenn on the multi-factor stuff that you're dealing with too.
Right. And for someone asked like, what is anti-MAG? So Glenn knows a lot more than I do, but what I know is that it's an autoimmune cause based neuropathy. MAG is myelin associated glycoprotein.
Yes.
So apparently I believe it's my IgM antibodies, which are attacking the myelin sheaths on peripheral arms and legs. The GM1, the really, really rare one, is all over your body. It
Duke,
affects
you might
all
wanna watch
nerves.
this. Working, but I encourage you to watch some of it. It's very educational. Whoops.
Okay.
Oh, here she is.
So that's what I know, and I'm not on any treatment for anything, and I'm sorry to be so negative, but I'm kind of pissed, and so that's where and somebody I saw a neighbor recently, and she goes to me, somebody I hadn't seen in a while, and she goes, "Oh, I saw you walking to the mailbox, the other day from my window. You're fine. There's nothing." I managed on a good day to walk to the mailbox, and she was convinced that this is all in my head, and I'm just attention seeking. I'll have to remember to fall down on the ground and have a seizure next time I go to the mailbox, so it'll,
Well, Barbara, don't feel bad. I have a handicap sticker in my car and I hang it up, when I'm going to the grocery store or somewhere. And sometimes I walk well and sometimes I walk like a duck. And about 6 months ago, somebody said, "Well, you shouldn't park there because you're walking fine."
Yeah.
And I'm going, "Well, I have peripheral neuropathy." And they say, "Well, so what?" So,
Right.
Yeah,
people can
you're
be really
always going to
horrible.
run into those people.
Right.
People don't understand what peripheral neuropathy is.
What you need to do is carry a cane with you or something.
Well,
I do.
Yeah, and I mean, when it first started happening with me, people would say, "Well, get out and exercise more. You need to exercise more." So people just don't understand our thing.
I know, and people don't want to hear about it, So even my family, I have a tiny bit of family. I have a son and a couple of grandkids, and they just don't get it. They say, "There's always something wrong with you." I'm sorry. I did this on purpose. I wanted to be broken, and there we are. It's really, I don't know what else to say to people. I've tried explaining, and you see people's eyes glaze over. People don't want to hear about this.
Well, I will tell you, I just tell people it's like I have you can't explain it. I just say I have nerve damage in my feet and they tingle and they burn and it feels like I'm sticking my foot in a burning beehive and people go, "Oh God, that's awful."
Yeah,
So that ends it right there. So
all right. That's an approach. I mean, a couple
okay,
of times.
we'll continue. Let's go to Carolyn. Let's hear about you. I know you said you just joined us a while and in and out and came back. And so what's the latest on you?
I'm fortunate that I actually have mild symptoms right now. I actually found this group 3 or 4 years ago for my mom. She's now 91 and has severe peripheral neuropathy. She can't feel pretty much her legs at all. She's still walking. She's driving with hand controls. But then I started feeling strange things with my feet probably 1.5 years ago. But in January, I went and got tested and they confirmed I have moderate peripheral neuropathy in both legs. So, which kind of surprised me. I thought I was just kind of clear. Anyway, I just saw a podiatrist. They never sent me to a neurologist. And his comment was, "Well, when you have pain or issues, come back." So no, there was no discussion about any exercise or details or anything. So I continue to have tingling in my feet and hands periodically. I am paying attention because I know it's likely to evolve. My mom was only diagnosed officially like 5 years ago, but she's been having problems for 30 years. So, anyway, so there is a genetic for us. There is potentially a genetic component. Yeah. And I'm in Ashland, Oregon, by the way, but my mom is in Ashburn, Virginia. So that's how we found your group.
Well, welcome to the group. Does anyone have any questions for Carolyn?
So apparently the doctor, the medical profession really hasn't made much progress in advising newly diagnosed people. Of
No,
course, you had some awareness of the consequences.
yeah,
I was, it just, it's a constant source of anger to me, that country doesn't do a better job, first off, of diagnosing this early, because there are simple, relatively inexpensive tools that don't require a lot of expertise on the part of the doctor to pick up on this condition early. And there doesn't seem to be a standard package of advice saying, hey, this is what you can do. This is the only thing we know of that you can do to slow it down. And that's that should be a part of a package that every doctor should give. And exercise, that exercise is the main part of that package. And that if you have pain, you need to go at it aggressively early on, because it's chronic pain, and the sooner you get it under control, the better off you'll be. And the biggest threat is losing your balance, and that's the reason exercise is so important. That should be a package, but the American medical establishment really hasn't come to grips with peripheral neuropathy, and they have come to grips with Alzheimer's. And I think that the reason it hasn't come to grips with it is as a patient community, we haven't made enough noise.
I wonder if your mother in Ashburn and assisted living, Virginia, Ashburn. You said your mother was in Ashburn.
yeah, she's living in Ashby Ponds, and she actually is in independent living still at this point. My dad passed away a few months back. He had dementia for 9 years. So in addition to being in chronic pain, she was 24/7 caregiver for my dad until about a month before he passed. So she fortunately right now is still able to take care of herself, and my siblings both live close by.
All right, well, that's good, Carolyn. Thank you. Is there any other new person or attendee to this group?
I don't recognize Jim.
I don't either. Jim, are you new?
Hi. Hi, everybody. Yes,
Jim,
this is,
are you new to this group?
I am new to this group. Yes.
Okay, for new attendees, I'd like to know your last name if I could, and where you're located.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Last name is Specht, S-P-E-C-H-T.
Could you put that in the chat? I mean, put that in the upper corner. In the upper corner, you see 3 dots. You can rename yourself.
Well, I prefer not to be putting my last name up personally, but I'm more than happy to share my last name with you on the verbally here, but I don't really want to put it up on the.
Okay, would you say it again to me, please?
Sure. S as in Sam, P as in Paul, E as in Edward, C as in Charlie, H as in Henry, T as in Tom. And you pronounce it like expect.
Okay. And where are you from?
I'm currently living in Plano, Texas, which is north of Dallas.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry I got late here. I was at the grocery store trying.
That's fine. And one more, what type of neuropathy do you have, and how'd you?
Yeah, I'll give you with I've been dealing with this over 10 years now, and I've got just like I caught on some of the points here, that were being complained here, that it's a frustrating situation. Yes, I'm dealing with a very frustrating situation. Basically, it's idiopathic, which in other words, there's no medical test that really makes it as obvious. Although they have a couple of them that have been somewhat, perhaps, indicating what might be the problem. So, definitely small fiber peripheral neuropathy, and it started in my feet, about 2009. But it started to get worse and worse in my feet, and now it's up to the back of my legs and up to my buttocks now. So I've dealt with I've had every oil medication under the sun, pain medication. I've been to half a dozen neurologists, half a dozen pain management doctors, and half a dozen specialists, and from Houston to San Antonio to Dallas, and I had to retire early, at the age of 57, because I was in so much pain dealing with this problem. Even though I had been seeing the doctors for a couple of years before that point. And I had two different pain pumps implanted. One of them intrathecal pain pump. One of them was failed immediately because the doctor didn't know what he was doing. It got infected. The incision got infected. They had to take it out. A year later, that was 4 years ago. A year later, they ended up reimplanting one, which I'm still actively using. I had a spinal cord stimulator implanted. That's been taken out since because that didn't really work. So, but yeah, this has basically completely destroyed my personal life. My second wife basically left me, exited stage right, because this wasn't what she had signed up for. So.
Jim, I think everybody in the group can appreciate what you're saying, because we all go through the same thing off and on. So I think during this meeting, you'll get some good ideas from us. All right. I do not recognize, is it Hal?
You pardon?
No, I'm looking at somebody else.
Bill, also, I just wanted to mention, I think Deborah Bray had her hand up earlier too. Are you new? Is she new?
Yes, I am new. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to talk now, or because you just said somebody else, so I'll wait until that person.
Oh, that's quite all right. You go ahead.
Go ahead, Deborah. Is it you've got up there?
No, it's Hal. I don't know why it's there twice. Hal.
Okay, go ahead, Deborah. And Hal, if you can put your last name up there, that'd be great for us.
Hal.
Hal, go ahead. Okay, Deborah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have chemo-induced peripheral neuropathy. I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in May of 2024. Had a radical hysterectomy and then began chemo 3 weeks after my surgery. So I had chemo 6 rounds every 21 days. And about the 4th round, I noticed that my big toes were a little numb. And I reported all this to the doctor. And then I noticed in my right hand, and I'm right-handed, 3 of my fingers were starting to get numb and tingling. And I finished the chemotherapy, thank the Lord. But the last one, I started immediately noticing my feet. And so I have the peripheral neuropathy in my 3 fingers is almost gone. But it's not, it's in both feet. I don't think it goes up my legs. I was listening to you, Jim. Mine is really confined to sort of the toe box, the toes, and then half of the foot. I walk a lot, and I do think the more I walk, it definitely helps it. But my feet are really cold, and I was tripping a lot, but I just made myself really conscientious about heel toe. I've never had a fall, knock on wood, but anyway, and so I tried acupuncture. I did nothing. So anyway, I found you guys online, and I just thought I'd listen in to see if I got any tips or whatever. I'm on no medication. My oncologist seems to feel
that it can take up to 2 years to go away, and thought it was promising that my fingers were almost gone. I don't know that my feet are any different. And it's been 1 year now since I finished chemo.
All right, thank you, Deborah.
Can I,
Sure.
maybe later on, Glenn, we can talk about what is the expectation of chemo-induced peripheral neuropathy?
Certainly, the prognosis of chemo-induced is better than a lot of other types, although I won't say it's great. But
Yeah.
Deborah, we'll talk about maybe some supplementation you could use to ease it along that your oncologist, if they knew well, should have mentioned before your chemo started.
Well, if you're talking about B6, B12, those I did do. Not anymore, but
B6, I wouldn't necessarily do. B12, yes, maybe coenzyme Q10 as well, which is mitochondrially protective.
okay. Okay, great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Glenn.
Sure.
Appreciate that. All right. Hal,
Yes.
you're up. What's your last name, Hal?
Mordkovsky.
Could you spell that
Actually,
for me?
sure. M as in Mary. O-R, D for David. K-O-F as in Frank. S as in Sam. K-Y.
Mordkovsky.
And
Okay.
I'm not entirely new to the group. I've been absent probably for most of the meetings. I have
Shame
good
on you.
intentions, but somehow Saturday afternoons I'm always finding something else to do instead of attending the meeting, and I know that's foolish because these meetings are very helpful. But just to recount, I was as a child I had Perthes disease, which, as some of you may know, is an avascular neuropathy of the femur. The femoral head loses its blood supply and it starts to die and flake, and so it loses its roundness, and the disease subsides after several years, but it leaves you, at least it left me, with a flattened femoral head. And it didn't affect me too much in my salad days, but as I grew older, I had a lot of pain there, and I needed hip surgery. And I had, it wasn't a total hip replacement. It was, I forget what they call it now, but that prosthesis failed after about 10 or 11 years. And I finally had a total hip replacement on the left side. Now, whether the hip surgeries caused nerve damage at this point is questionable. The first prosthesis was a cobalt alloy, and there was some question later on as to whether I had metallosis from the cobalt, but that was pretty much ruled out. In any event, after the second surgery, I was still pretty active, but I had nerve conduction studies which confirmed the peripheral neuropathy, and then I developed. I started stumbling and falling actually, and when I had back surgery, I was diagnosed with drop foot on the left side, and I wear an AFO today. I trip over my foot without it. So I have an AFO. My balance is very poor. It's gotten worse over time, little by little. There hasn't been any sort of a sharp change, but little by little, I've gone from a cane. Now I feel more comfortable with a walker. If I have any distance to go or if the terrain is uneven, I can't get by with my cane alone. I need a walker. And I'm still driving because, fortunately, you drive with your right foot, and my right foot seems to be fine. My knees are fine. And I don't have I don't feel I have any difficulty driving, but my left leg has become weakened, and my balance is very poor. As one person said just moments ago, I can't. I mean, I manage a few steps without the cane if I need to, but I feel more comfortable with the cane and most comfortable with the walker. And that's about where I am now.
Hey, does anyone got it? Thank you, Hal. Does anyone
Oh,
got
well, I
any,
want to add one additional thing, which I think is interesting. Several years ago, I developed severe itching, and my doctor prescribed various steroid creams and ointments, and the itching caused a rash, and it was terrible. I mean, it was driving me absolutely crazy. Nothing seemed to work. And I don't know how I came upon it, but I Googled neuropathic itch.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there's a very informative article from NIH. If you Google neuropathic itch, which suggested that gabapentin and a similar drug might be useful. And I suggested it to my dermatologist, and she said, well, let's give it a try. And to make a long story short, I now take 300 milligrams of gabapentin 3 times a day, and it definitely relieves the itch. I know when I've missed a dose or I'm getting ready to miss a dose, because the itch starts, and I take the gabapentin, and 10 or 15 minutes later, the itch is gone. So I don't have any pain in my feet like a lot of you have, but I do have neuropathic itch, for which I take gabapentin.
Hal, that's a great comment you made, and because I've heard that before, to help with the itch. It's amazing how you can the doctor doesn't know, and then you Google neuropathic itch, and it comes up and it works for you.
It works.
Super.
It's amazing. I consider it a wonder drug.
Does it make itch any particular place? I have horrible shoulder blade itch.
Yeah, that's where my itch is, in my right shoulder blade for the most part, and the back of my neck, and my lower scalp. And I can tell when it's time for gabapentin because it starts.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah. Sounds like a cervical brachial pruritus, which is actually not that uncommon and often can be experienced by people with compression in the cervical spine. People often think of like spinal problems as causing pain, and they certainly can, but itch is definitely something, as well as numbness, that can actually happen from compression of nerves and nerve roots along that area.
Oh, what a relief.
Yeah, and I do have narrowing of my spinal column, spinal stenosis. Yes, I do.
My wife says I look like a bear in the woods when I go up to the corner of the house and try to rub my shoulders on a corner to get rid of the itch.
Yeah, try gabapentin. You'll be amazed at the results.
Okay, thank you. That's I'm glad I have a lot of trees in my yard, because I have been called the same thing, Mike. Anyway,
We have someone
Okay,
named
let's
Matthew
open
Gilmore.
it up. We got about 15 minutes before break, and I'm just going to open that. Does anyone want to open? It's
I
open
want to say
discussion.
something. This is Pam. Can you tell
Pam,
him?
go ahead.
Okay. A few months ago, I fell and landed on my left foot, ankle, my turned foot. And I fell a couple of more times within a month. So it was 3 times altogether. I didn't doctor for it. I just read what was on the net about a sprained ankle, and I followed the directions. And then it turns out that I have a fractured bone in my foot that I had no idea was fractured because of the peripheral neuropathy. And one doctor of the new docs I'm seeing had a hunch that I might have a problem. And she had me x-rayed a few weeks ago and discovered this fracture in my left foot. So now I'm wearing this horrific, well, I'm wearing a boot to hold my foot stiff, and I've been 3 weeks. I have at least 3 more weeks to go. It's made my already difficult walking a lot worse, but I just wanted to pass that on for anyone else who if you fall and you can't feel, you have no idea what you've done to whatever limb it is that gets injured. And so I'll be a lot more careful going forward. And I just want to say it when I have an opportunity so that other people realize that they may injure themselves and not ever know it.
Well, I think it's a good thing. I check my feet every day and feel my legs every day and look for, even I wear white socks when I'm going around just to make sure the blood doesn't show up somewhere. And but it's different people would do different things. So thanks for your comment. Okay, any other comments?
Hi,
Questions?
this is Jim again. I just want to throw out a question here to anybody else in the group here that as I mentioned before, I've been dealing with this problem over a decade, and I've been in numerous doctors and diagnosed all kinds of tests and stuff, and nothing seems to be really showing up other than the fact that clearly I do have a severe from an exam, the exam room stuff. I clearly have a severe peripheral neuropathy problem going on, but my Baylor Scott and White neurologist is recently throwing out having me start to do IVIG infusion treatments, 4-hour infusion treatments, which is for people who are not familiar. This is intravenous immunoglobulin for autoimmune issues, apparently. So. And so this is just something I've just started a couple of weeks ago. Apparently, it's going to be something that's going to take a while to find out whether they're really helpful or not. But one thing, though, doing a lot of investigating on the internet there, as far as on Chat GPT, as far as autoimmune neuropathy issues, and found something interesting that seemed to correlate to one of the weird things I've been experiencing for years, and that is what I call a two-day pain cycle, where one day my pain's up, and the next day my pain's down. The next day my pain's up. Next day my pain's down. Apparently, this is something that can be associated with the autoimmune system revving up and then slowing down, revving up, just like your sleep cycle, in a 24-hour cycle. But apparently, this autoimmune system can be anywhere from a 1 day to 3 day cycle. But anyway, I just was wondering if anybody had any experience with any of this that I just mentioned. So.
I guess the question I would have for you, Jim, is that if they're giving you IVIG, has there been laboratory confirmation of any auto antibodies very specifically? Because usually you won't get the insurance companies to do that for you unless they can document that.
It's very interesting. I know exactly what you said, Glenn. Interestingly enough, the answer to the question is that no, there has been no laboratory tests that have shown this specifically. Although apparently, looking on the internet, this is not every blood test is out there that can diagnose autoimmune issues. But interesting enough, Medicare did not hesitate within just a couple of weeks. My neurologist suggested that man, this may get kicked back. I'm old enough for Medicare now. It's it may be denied, but within just a couple weeks of submitting it, it got approved. So I don't know how that happened that it got approved, but I'm grateful for that fact. And apparently, this is read on the internet. Apparently, not this is sometimes can happen where not every autoimmune disorder is necessarily something that can be diagnosed by a blood test. But I know exactly what you're saying, Glad. What you're saying has been my experience too, as far as what I was being told that might happen. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly true that a lot of the idiopathic neuropathies, particularly small fiber predominant, autoimmune mechanisms are suspected, even if they're very difficult to prove.
Yes.
The problem, of course, with those, of course, is that since you can't really diagnose small fiber neuropathy without a skin biopsy or a corneal confocal microscopy, and they will not show up on nerve conduction studies, it's very, very difficult to get them to give you immune modulating treatments. Although one of the people I mentioned in the chat, Norman Latov at Weill Cornell Center for Peripheral Neuropathy here in New York, has been fighting to do that for people with idiopathic small fiber for a number of decades.
Yeah, my neurologist said that based on apparently the exam, and this is Baylor Scott and White, that's a pretty prestigious institution, and he's one of these doctors of the year kind of people and stuff. So, but he warned me that when he initially thought this idea that because basically apparently everything else isn't necessarily pointing any fingers at what's wrong, what's going on. He warned me that this is probably going to be denied, and then they're going to have to do some appealing and stuff, but. And he would keep me up to speed. Within a couple of weeks, I heard back from him, and the office said, "Okay, we're scheduling it." And I said, "It got approved," and he said, "Yeah." So I don't know exactly how that got approved, but it did, and I'm grateful for at least the opportunity to try something else because I am at my wit's end of what to do at this point in time. So
yeah,
I think your story there, it's really important. People sometimes take the initial answer from the insurance company as the answer. I've had some experience with some things with my wife where the initial response was no, and of course they make it hard to fight the system. They want to do everything with faxes instead of emails, and that turns out to be a major problem. But my experience is if you've got evidence to bring, that evidence may be very difficult to collect and it may be difficult to organize, but if you're persistent, the evidence, you can fight the system. The system it's basically there's a commitment by the insurance companies to for your health, and if you're willing to fight the system, sometimes you can succeed. And in my experience, we did succeed.
Well, I'm great. I'm very glad to hear that. Yeah, in my case, I was pretty much convinced myself that this was not going to happen, but and based on my neurologist's comment to me in his office, but he I don't know how it happened. I kept waiting to hear that it got denied, but then the next thing I know, it got approved by Medicare, and I was like, okay. And then the amazing, shocking thing was that it says the amount, it talked about the bill. I didn't actually have to pay anything on this at all, which is interesting. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The initial bill was like $33,000 for this, but it got my part ended up being just $1,200 in the end. So, yeah.
Jim, you might want to look into you may have already done this, the Western Neuropathy Association has a number of support groups. And since you said you were just starting 2 weeks ago, which group would that be, Glenn? For
the third Wednesday evening CIDP autoimmune group, which meets at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central, 4 Mountain, and 3 Pacific. I absolutely will invite you to that, Jim. You definitely should come.
Okay,
Uh,
you said you're gonna invite me? You have my contact here?
No,
Or do I?
Glenn, I'm sure will put his information in the website on the chat.
yeah,
Right?
you can actually go, I put this in already, to www.pnhelp.org.
Hold on. Wait a second. I'm jotting this down.
Yeah, I'll put it back into the
It's in the
chat
chat.
again as well.
What?
And
What?
pnhelp.org. And it's the Western Neuropathy Association website. And if you go into support groups across the top tab, you can see all of the ones we have. We currently have 9 online and 3 in person. And there is a specialized autoimmune CIDP group that meets the 3rd Wednesday of each month.
That's good. That's good to know. Thank you very much. I appreciate the information, Glenn. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that.
Bill?
Okay.
Bill, before
Anybody
you-
else on before we take a break? Yes, Rebecca.
There's a couple of, they posted, a couple of people posted, we might have a couple of new people, Ron Karpik, Elizabeth Emond, and Matthew Gilmore. So when we come back, maybe we can get them to introduce themselves.
Okay. So you have a 15-minute break? Is that how this works?
Maybe 5.
I've got, okay, let's, I've got 2:55. We take a 5-minute break and come on back at 3 o'clock and we'll continue. Okay?
Thank you.
Everyone
Appreciate
get
it.
up and stretch and
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
and stay hydrated
Yes.
with water.
Well, I was going to say with a bottle of scotch or what?
Ah,
And
Scotch
the
and water is
break's
okay, but
specifically
not
for
scotch.
Deborah because she says it takes her a long time to walk.
All right, see you at 3 o'clock.
thank you.
While they're gone, I want to talk to Hal. Are you there, Hal?
Yeah.
Look, I got the same problem you did. They told me to get stretch socks, or what he calls pressurized socks. Have you tried that?
Yeah, I wear compression stockings every day.
Do you think that helps?
I don't know, but my primary care doctor recommended it some years ago when I had some swelling, some fluid in my legs, and she recommended compression stockings. It's probably been at least pre-pandemic, and so I wear compression stockings every day. Yeah, it may help. I'm not really sure. At least the swelling hasn't reoccurred.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, Glenn, since you're sitting there, can I ask you about the supplements for chemo-induced? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, many oncologists don't seem to talk about the possibility of neuropathy as a side effect of chemo and radiation therapy, possibly because if they really describe it, they figure people won't follow through with the therapy. But for those who do, the 2 general supplements that cannot hurt you, there's no known toxicity levels for either of these, and which might help and probably should be started even before the chemotherapy are vitamin B12, usually in the methylcobalamin form, just to cover any possible methylation mutations that might make it hard to use another form. And if anybody wants to hear about that later, I'll do the chemistry lesson again. And also coenzyme Q10, which is also known as ubiquinol, whose main function is mitochondrial protective. A lot of the chemo-induced neuropathy symptoms seem to be from the disruption of cellular metabolism, which the mitochondria control. And while there's no guarantee that it'll stop neuropathy, there have been some good reports that it might at least mitigate some of the effects for people that are on heavy chemotherapeutic drugs. Again, the problem is that you won't generally have this discussion with your oncologist going in.
Well, I have to say, you know, my oncologist, you know, it was very quick from the surgery. It was 3 weeks later to start the chemo, but they did have me start. I want to say it was B12 and B6, and I took those right as soon as I got the information prior to the first chemo and all the way through.
I am learning so much.
You know, it didn't do anything. So,
Well, I mean, you know,
yeah.
fingers crossed, maybe it kept it from being worse.
Well, that you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And the three fingers, and I'm right-handed, and I'm still working. So, you know, I'm happy that they have come back, and I do think that the exercise, and I walk a lot. I do think it helps. It just they feel less dead.
Yeah.
And they just it just feels like there's more stimulation in there, and but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We always say with neuropathy, exercise to tolerance, because obviously people's tolerances vary considerably. But even if you can't walk around, there are sit and fit things on YouTube. There are even exercises that can be done in recumbent positions. Anything to try and enhance circulation is only going to be helpful.
do you think that PT would help at all?
Couldn't hurt.
Okay.
You know, certainly, although it might be difficult to find a physical therapist who has experience and knowledge of neuropathy in general and chemo-induced in particular.
Okay.
You know, there aren't that many of them around.
All right. Okay. And do you know that the dosage of the B12 and Q10?
Most of the people on Q10, they'll start with 200 milligrams a day or thereabouts. Often they'll split them into 2 doses and take them with
Okay.
meals. Whereas B12, you don't want to take with meals because it's very easy to interfere with the absorption of that molecule. The cobalamin molecule is the largest molecule the body uses for nutrition on a regular basis. And even taking it with other supplements can inhibit its absorption. But what we'll usually tell people with that, and I bet other people here, particularly Pat, if she's available, can speak to this, we tend to get people to megadose just in case they're having trouble with absorption. So even though the minimum daily requirement for most people for B12 is like 2 to 4 micrograms a day, which is tiny, we usually say do 1,000 microgram lozenge each day. Yeah, there's no known toxicity level. You might have some fairly vivid dreams and you might make some very colorful urine. But other than that, it'll make sure that your B12 stores are very, very much topped off, particularly if the chemotherapy is also interfering with the absorption, which it can do.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Could I
we're
just make
back.
a comment,
I'm
Bill?
back.
Bill, can I make a comment for the lady here? Asking about physical therapy. Try to find one that might specialize in balance training, or even do see if you can find a chair yoga class. That's a good, you know, you're sitting down, so you're not going to fall down, but you can get some good stretches in.
Okay. Thanks, Rebecca.
Uh-huh.
All right, before I turn it over to Pat, I want to make one disclaimer and tell especially the new people. Glenn is on our team. He is not a doctor,
Nope.
but he should be, but he's too busy not being one. So anyway. Okay, Pat, you're up. Good to see you.
Thank you, Bill. My name is Pat Gualtieri, and I'm the president of this group, and I thank you all for joining us today. It makes my heart happy to hear the sharing and caring that's going on in this support group, and it makes the work planning it all the better, all the more worthwhile. Which brings me to my points now. We just want to briefly talk about a topic that has arisen over several years repeatedly, and that's the use of cannabis in modifying or modifying symptoms. And we had Rich Davis. Hi, Rich. Can you wave to everyone? We had Rich Davis very kindly chair a panel on cannabis use, both medical marijuana and CBD oils, creams, et cetera, in, I think it was May of 2022. And since then, we've had repeated requests for updates on that. And Mary Erdman, I'm not sure if you're here, Mary, are you here today?
No, she left.
Okay, Mary graciously agreed to update a flyer, a fact sheet actually, that Phil Roach put together back in 22. I'm a retired librarian, so I'm very aware and conscientious about current information and credible information. So Mary agreed to update what we had found in 22. And we hope eventually to even include more state-specific information for at least Virginia, Maryland, and DC, though we know, of course, Zoom participants are coming from all over. At least it would be a beginning. So we have an exit survey at the end of this meeting. We have one each month to try and guide our planning for additional programs that people are interested in. And we ask a question very specifically: if you are interested in cannabis, or an update on what we found in 22. And if you are, if you would be willing to share your personal experiences, whether it was helpful, not helpful, how you went about finding a dispensary, or whatever you would like to share. If you are interested in this, please answer our final questions on the exit survey, saying that yes, you think this is a topic that is valuable enough to take a month discussion. I know that some people actually don't like speakers because it takes away time from open discussion where a lot of this sharing is going on that's very vital to us. But also we feel that we should be trying to keep you abreast of developments in the PN community, which is why we also announce all the webinars that we are aware of, so that you'll be able to attend those if you're interested. And of course, Glenn and I will both update where there are Zoom meetings throughout the country a little later in the program. So I would also like to say to Deborah, in relation to the B12, I've been taking 1,000 daily. My neurologist was the first to realize that my B12 absorption had gone down each year for 6 years. And he was a new neurologist and the first one to really look at my B12. And he said, this could be a contributing factor, and upped it. And I can't remember the latest blood test, how high I had gotten, but I had no colored urine, dream issues, nothing. It's just something that I do regularly. Thanks to Glenn, I know to get methylated and also not to combine it with other drugs, supplements, or even food. So I'm careful about that. And I do believe that it has helped. I thankfully have no pain, but I think it has helped with the numbness and that feeling of dead feet as you've described it. And I've also done, and I've talked about this before, PT, but aquatic PT, which I thought was wonderful, where the physical therapist is actually working with you in the water. I'm not talking about, heck, I never remembered the name. When you go, help me, Glenn, in the pool, just the exercise class.
Water aerobics.
Water aerobics. I'm not talking about water aerobics. What I'm talking about is actual work with a physical therapist at your side. And I found that incredibly helpful, but it's very hard to find someone. And the last thing I'll say, and maybe Judd would like to say something about this, is my husband recently has had surgery and for something called normal pressure hydrocephalus, and he is having balance and gait issues, and they have recommended a neuro physical therapist. And looking specifically, you know, your doctor hands you a list of physical therapists and says, find one that's convenient. Well, I think it's more important to find one that has a neuro specialization. So that's something that you might look at. And I know Judd has felt that it has been helpful.
I might also add, in terms of physical therapy. I've had several bouts. It is helpful. I had a physical therapist come to my home 2 days a week, and she had me doing various exercises, including leg lifts with ankle weights and arm strengthening exercises as well. But what I found the most helpful in terms of balance is Tai Chi. And I don't know if any of you have experienced that, but there's a recreation center down the street from where I live, and there was a very active Tai Chi group that met two mornings. It was 3 mornings a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, for 2 hours, and we did Tai Chi, and I learned it. When I first went there, I had no idea how to do the moves, and one of the instructors said, "You came here with hobbling with your cane," and within a period of several months, my balance had improved dramatically. Unfortunately, when the pandemic hit, that came to an end, and unfortunately it hasn't resumed. And I try to do it at home. I still know all the forms, the 24 forms. I can do them, but it's like the exercise. I just don't seem to get around to it as much as I should. But Tai Chi is absolutely amazing to improve your balance.
You can also go on YouTube, and they have the 24 forms that can instruct you. Everybody should be doing Tai Chi Chuan. But Barbara, I wanted to send you a message about B12, but the version of Zoom that you're using doesn't support message sending to you. So I'm going to put it in general for everybody, and I think Glenn can second what I'm going to show you. There are certain cautions with B12, and I'll even show you some of the dangers of taking too much B12. So it's very important, but you might want to up next time you do Zoom, upgrade your version of Zoom.
I've gotten messages through, you talking about messages through the chat?
I'm sorry, I meant Deborah, not Barbara.
Oh,
Forgive
okay.
me. Deborah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I have seen messages though, but.
Well, I tried to send you one. It says you're not here. When I click on to send you a message, it says that the version that you're using, here's what it says. This participant has an older version of Zoom Workplace and cannot be added to a group chat.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'll try to address that.
Thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate that. Karen, I was curious, been the PT, you're a retired physical therapist. Do you have a comment about what was said about PT and Tai Chi?
Karen, you're muted.
Hello, Karen.
Just looking.
There we go. All right. Okay,
Calling
thanks.
Karen. Karen.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Yeah. I have. I had about almost 2 years ago a microdiscectomy on my back. It was a very successful surgery, and it was for a sciatic nerve issue. And it was a very easy surgery. I was able to go home within the next day and resume activities gradually. I don't know whether this affected the peripheral neuropathy or not. I like to think that it didn't, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I was told not to play tennis for about a year just to make sure that sciatic nerve had healed, and particularly in my lower extremity down to my foot and toes, to make sure they could pick up if I was walking or running on the court. So that was fine. I thought that was legitimate, you know. So, and I had, after, you know, the surgery, I had various physical therapists. And I'm currently going to physical therapy now. Because I think it's somebody who can listen to you, who can, this particular person we have talked about each muscle and where it's weak, and sometimes it's the right, sometimes it's the left. The left was where the surgery was, but sometimes my right leg is weaker in certain aspects. So it has really made me tune into my body, you know, more so as far as individual muscles and individual areas to work on specifically. And I did actually last week try Tai Chi for the first time, and I could really see how it didn't do it this first time, but I could really see how it could help with balance. However, I think I'm going to wait until a later time to do it, because it looks like it does take a lot of effort and concentration to do it. And the teacher, I'm sorry to say, had a speech impediment, and he was very difficult to understand, but obviously knew Tai Chi very well. So I may pick it up at another time, and I'm very happy to hear that it was so positive for, was it Hal who had?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, had
Absolutely.
done that. So I appreciated that comment very much. And so I will keep that in mind for the future.
All right, what I want to ask you before I get to Pat, Karen, is it easy to find a neuro PT person?
Well, that's a good question. This person that I have, I'm not sure if she's a neuro PT, but she is a DPT, a doctor of physical therapy. And so that's another 3 years on the top of what I had at the time, my usual 4 years of physical therapy to get my degree. And so I feel she's much more cognizant for me of specifics, and that's what I wanted. And we're working on balance also, and the specific muscle issues. So, but I really haven't checked neurophysical therapists. I think that's a good point, Bill, to think about that. But I haven't done that.
All right, well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Karen. Pat, you've been waiting patiently.
I just made me realize that I hadn't mentioned Dr. Orit Dahari, who was the acupuncturist who spoke to us last month, is offering Tai Chi online. She has since moved to New York. She's left this area, but she's in New York. She's offering it online, and I'll put her contact information in the chat because she needs a minimum of 5 people to teach it. And I know Rebecca has her hand up too. Rebecca has actually worked with this woman, so maybe she could tell her experiences, but I'll put her information in the chat.
All right, Rebecca, do you want to?
Well, I think I was scratching my head. My hand wasn't up, but yeah, I went to Dr. Orit Dahari. She was an acupuncturist, and I did take some Tai Chi classes from her, and now unfortunately she's moved to New York, so I've lost her. But yeah, she did a lot. Tai Chi's a good balance exercise. So, and I think that's probably what most or if not all of us need. So.
And I know that there's at least one neuro PT here in Alexandria that my husband has found. He hasn't started yet. He just had a surgery, but I'll put that name in as well. And also, Dr. Orit has given us a directory link for acupuncturists across the United States. You put your zip code in, and it helps you find an acupuncturist, but I don't know about Tai Chi.
All right, thank you, Pat. Thank you for Rebecca. Appreciate that.
Oh, we had some other new people, didn't we? Rebecca, what was do you have that list?
Oh, Ron Karpik, Matthew Gilmore, and Elizabeth Emond. I didn't recognize the name, so I don't know if they're new or not.
Okay, I don't see, Ron, are you new?
Not really. I've
No.
been, I'm,
Do you
I'm,
want to be new?
I'm sporadic. No, I've contributed to the group financially, and I periodically check in, see how things are going. And
Okay, do you want to tell us anything about your, your neuropathy or how you've been and what's happening?
well, I fit into that group of idiopathic peripheral sensory neuropathy affecting my feet. And we've tried my neurologist and I've tried many medications. I have to admit that the gabapentin and pregabalin were successful in suppressing the feeling of pain, which I have 24/7, which is worsened by walking, standing, and definitely if I'm walking on uneven surfaces. But the gabalins cause my brain to be fuzzy, my vision to be fuzzy, so I don't take those. I'm presently on nortriptyline, and that's not doing anything. And now he has me on a mega vitamin supplement, which consists of B6, B12, and folic acid. Cost a lot of money, but I don't think it's doing anything because I've been on vitamins before. So
Ron, thank you. And where are you from and how'd you hear about us?
I'm in Falls Church, Virginia, and I used to live at near Seven Corners. So I don't remember how I heard of you, but since you were meeting at the Mason District Governmental Center, it was easy enough for me to trundle over and sit in the chair and be part of your group. And I've followed you on the Zoom ever since, periodically.
Yeah, I remember those days. Rebecca, who else was new that you said?
I said Elizabeth Imond, and I see you're still muted, Elizabeth. Are you new?
Am I still muted?
Nope, you're there
No,
now.
you're good.
Okay, I'm not new, but I have not been able to do this on a consistent basis. So that's why you don't see my name very often. But as far as why I find this group very interesting is I was diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy in 2017, and nobody knows why.
Yeah.
So it is not progressing quickly. I've had a lot of EMGs over the period, and then there's just been a very slight increase. What I'm finding now is numbness in one leg. So that's kind of concerning me. As far as where I'm located, it's Alexandria, but it's Fairfax County, Alexandria. So I was interested that what was her name? Pat mentioned something about.
I just put it up, Dr. Orit Dahari. It's in the chat, her website, and I'll put up her other contact information.
Yeah,
she also put up, as I said, the directory of board certified acupuncturists across the country, and I'll put that information in as well.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to pursue that. Nobody knows why from me, but there is a family history of what is it? Autoimmune issues, and they don't know whether or not that has any impact on me because I have other issues besides the peripheral neuropathy in my spine. So, but I'm ambulatory, so that's good. And I use a cane sometimes for balance issues. So I'm very interested in your Tai Chi information. I'll try that for balance. I have prescriptions for physical therapy. I've done physical therapy so much over the years. It's done nothing for me appreciably that I notice, but this neuro PT and Tai Chi, that's of interest. So I'm finding your group, just as somebody who works every once in a while, to be very useful. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Appreciate you coming back. And the last person, Rebecca, was who?
Matthew Gilmore.
Matthew Gilmore, are you still with us?
Hari Audit.
I'm still with the group. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes,
you.
go ahead, Matthew.
All right, this is the first one I've attended. It's not clear what kind of pain I have, whether it is neuropathy or central nervous or central pain. Can't really get a straight diagnosis on that. So I kind of keep my eye out for whatever place might provide useful information. And I've just not attended, I've known about this group for a couple of years now. I just haven't had a chance to attend. So I'm just stuck with lots of different issues, which are more than I care to go into right now. But so I'm interested.
Matthew, where are you from?
I'm here in Washington, D.C.
Okay, DC, okay.
And I do the vitamin stuff and supplements.
Number 8, week 8 of our short form Tai Chi class.
Here's the background music. Please mute yourself.
And Golden Cock stands on what?
Okay, Matthew, continue, please.
So yeah, so again, I haven't really attended one of these groups before, but it's interesting to hear what other people's experiences are. And like we're talking about neuro PT, I've not found a neuro PT in Washington that I could use because the one I was recommended to was out of insurance group. So that was, kind of make it too expensive to do. So, and I've been searching, but haven't found anybody yet. That's about it for me.
Okay, any questions for Matthew?
Kathleen Beckett.
Yes, I have a question about acupuncture. When I first learned I had peripheral neuropathy in my legs, somebody recommended highly that I go and have acupuncture. So I started doing that, and I went to 4. Of course, I expected a miracle after the first session because I really have never been kind of sick that much. But after the first session, I really didn't feel anything. And I went back at least 4 or 5 times and never, ever felt that it did any good. Is that kind of a standard thing for people? I mean,
Rebecca, do you want to comment on that?
Well, some people, it does take a while. And you don't get an immediate result if you only go a couple of times.
Right.
I started seeing Ori. She actually is also a Pilates instructor, and that's where I got her name. Anyway, I was battling horrible leg cramps in the nighttime.
Yeah.
When I try to, in the morning when I wake up. So she concentrated on that initially, and after a couple of times that went away. And then we started, working on other different things, she'd do my back, everything. I think Rich Davis has also seen an acupuncturist, haven't you, Rich?
No, might have been someone else, not me. But I thought about it.
Yeah. So anyway, and then she asked me about my sleeping, and I think after the second time I saw her, not that same night, but the following night, I went to sleep and slept for 11 hours straight. I didn't even twitch. It was like I was drugged. I was so out of it. So You just have to try it. Give it a try.
Okay, it's hard to get in to see anyone.
Yeah.
And of
Well,
course,
Pat or somebody did put a acupuncture directory of certified practitioners, NCCAOM at org. So you can look it up there, I guess,
okay,
to find an acupuncturist.
Kathleen, one thing I want to say is when you're looking for an acupuncturist, find out if they have dealt with a neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy person before.
okay,
That helps.
yeah, thank you.
Let me ask you a question.
I've also put up the information on the Neuro PT specific location in Falls Church. They only do Neuro PT, but I have not used them. This is not a recommendation. It's just that they're there if you want to look at their website if you're near Falls Church. I also was told by Dr. Orit about an acupuncturist that she highly recommends in Frederick, Maryland. I don't know if that's of interest to anyone. If so, write in the chat and I'll send you the info.
Okay, also, I
in
think it's
Wisconsin,
important
so-
to, when you meet, try to find somebody, any doctor, or acupuncturist or whatever, you have a consult with them before and just really say, I've got neuropathy. Do you deal with that type of patient? I think that's very important. Anyway.
Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question about this because I actually tried acupuncture early on, and when I first got diagnosis, it was very painful for me. But I came to the conclusion that this perhaps was because it's the small fiber nerves that are up to the skin level that are over hypersensitive in my situation, as opposed to the larger nerves, that run your muscles and stuff. Does anybody have any comments about that as far as whether small fiber or large fiber nerve neuropathy with an association with acupuncture?
It would be very difficult to affect the microscopic small fiber nerves with acupuncture, just because the needles, however thin they are not going to be as thin as the nerves themselves.
Right.
Most of the people I know who've had some success with acupuncture have had disorders of larger fiber nerves, whether it's through spinal compression or in certain cases with autoimmune demyelinating types of neuropathy. But I haven't really heard anybody with predominantly small fiber, like the diabetics often present that way, who've really found acupuncture to be that useful.
Yeah, my situation is actually painful, and I just had the I came to the conclusion. Even running, things across my skin and stuff is, this Babinski test that they do on your, neurologist will do on the bottom of your feet and stuff. That was extremely painful experience for me. Like the bottom of my feet were like hypersensitive, So I just feel like that maybe there was some correlation to my experience with acupuncture being painful with association with my skin level being hypersensitive. So my experience.
Pam, you got a
I have
question?
a mechanics question about, can I get into the chat anytime and how do I do it? Or only when we're meeting?
The chat is live past the meeting, but getting in there is pretty complicated. Maybe, I could it would be better if we just sent you a copy of the chat, or like last month's, for example, we're putting that up on the website, and or I can send you just email. I can send you a copy of the chat with all this information. Happy to do that, Pam.
Thank you, Judd.
You can download a copy on your, well, I only use I have a PC, and I think in a Mac works the same way. You can download a copy. There is if you can you see the chat right now?
No, because all I see is a bit, I don't know how to find it.
Oh, there should be an option. What kind of computer are you using?
This is an iPad.
Yeah, Judd, can't you see?
I don't think she can.
I have an iPad mini. And for me, the chat is down at the bottom, all the controls, the mic, the camera.
Yeah, I remember seeing that before, but I don't know how to get into it right now.
Right.
Well, maybe it's kind of hidden from you. Maybe if you.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm on that. Now I got it open.
Right.
No, I again, I
think you
don't have an
just-
iPad, so I don't know exactly, but there should be an option somewhere. There should be, I'm guessing, this is just a guess, because I don't have one, but I'm guessing there's 3 little dots somewhere, a little ellipses.
There's Mike, there's a chat. The chat has got like 2 little hello, I'm talking things. Just click on that, Pam, and then on one side of your screen, it will come up where you can post questions and answers.
Yeah, that's just opened up and I'm seeing it for the first time ever.
Okay.
So, but I can only do this when we're meeting, is that right? Or can I get into it?
There should be a way to download a copy.
Well, you can't ask people questions if that's what you're asking, Pam. If we're offline, nobody's there to talk to you.
I understand that, but I'm wondering, does the chat keep responses to questions so that people can access them not when meeting? And if so,
Yeah.
how do I do that?
Well, again, I don't have an iPad, but there should be an option to what's called save chat.
Okay.
Not on an
and-
iPad.
Not on an iPad.
No. I don't think so. I'm looking at my iPad right now, and I don't believe that's true. But the chat is live. Technically, you should be able to get to it, but it's pretty complicated.
Okay.
We'll probably need to take it offline if you want to do that. I would say just let me send you a copy.
All right. Let's
I
start.
would
with that.
I would like to emphasize, though, last month, a woman named Mary, and I'm not sure if she's here today, asked me to send the chat, and then she didn't put her email in the chat that was active at that moment. So I had no way to contact her because I didn't have her email. So if you need information from this meeting or you want the saved chat, please make sure that you type your email or your contact information into the chat now so that we're able to send it to you.
Okay, I'm looking at how I do that.
Well, we have Pam's email.
Oh, okay.
If you get emails about the meetings,
yeah,
will you be able to do it through that?
Yes, but you have to tell us you want it. We're not going to send it to the 32 people. We're only going to send the save chat to those who asked for it today. Do you understand, Hal?
Yes.
So if you want it, just put Hal would like the chat, Barbara would like the chat, and then we'll be able to use your emails. This woman, however, was new and hadn't joined. She only was there for the one meeting, so I've lost contact with her.
Okay.
So if you want it, please message everyone in the chat and just say, please send save chat with your name.
Okay, Pat, Kathleen Beckett just put her email in there.
Thank you.
Right.
I also found that there is actually an American Physical Therapy Association offers a Find a Neurologic Physical Therapist database. And I put that in the chat. So it's there. NeuroPT is one that I know is one in Falls Church. But then you can also look at the association's database. And again, probably using your zip code, find somebody.
Okay, I guess that takes care of the.
I just looked it up.
Answers all the questions, huh?
I just looked it up. You can't save chat on an iPad. It doesn't have it. It doesn't support that.
Oh, pooey.
Well, I'll get it.
By a computer.
So the only one who has officially asked is Kathleen at this point.
All right, Jim,
So
did you have a question again?
Me? No.
Yeah,
Nope, I don't have any
Uh,
questions. Thank you.
I'm going through. Any other questions today? Any open conversation?
Can I ask
I may have
something?
I'm
All
sorry,
right,
I may have missed it,
raise your-
Pat, but did you put in your husband's neuro name, the person that,
No, he
John?
has, oh, no, I have not. I'm sorry, I forgot.
That's okay.
But there is that one in Falls Church, which we're looking at. And then,
Okay.
and then there's a second one in Alexandria. I'll find that now.
Well, and I'm going to one in Loudoun County, it's associated with the hospital. I'm wild about the progress I'm making after my stroke. So, you know, if you want me to give you that, then happy to do it.
I think that'd be a haul for me. I think that'd be tough for me, but
Yeah.
I appreciate hearing about Alexandria and Falls Church or whatever. Thank you.
Well, we did the best we can to offer support and help. That's why we're here.
You sure do.
I just wanted, I just wanted to mention a couple of people have mentioned having foot drop or having it develop foot drop, and you can get an AFO. I forget what that stands for.
Ankle
foot orthotic.
Ankle foot orthotic.
Yeah, you can get that, but I want to share my screen for just a second. This is an ad on Amazon. I just pick this one. It's called a foot up. I wear them. I worn them for the last I don't know how long. About 6 or 7 years now. And I've got a person I know from exercise class who has an AFO and finds it uncomfortable. Has the kind that are a piece of metal and it goes in and it hooks over your foot. This is much simpler and it may be just as effective. It's been very effective for me. They're not very expensive. If you have foot drop in both feet, you're talking about $100 or so to get one for each leg. And it goes around your ankle. And then there's a little elastic thing and a piece of plastic that goes in your shoe and it's caught by your shoelace. And so the piece of plastic in there pulls up your foot. Because the plastic is there, the elastic pulls your toe of your foot up, and it's quite comfortable. You don't even really know it's there. I don't even notice it's there most of the time. When I lie down to take a nap, I just leave it on. So and it's very inexpensive compared to getting an AFO. Of course, and because it's over the counter, most insurance will probably pay for it. If you get an AFO, you may be talking about $1,000 or so, your portion of what you have to pay. So if you have foot drop, this may be a good way of dealing with that particular problem.
Okay, Mike, thank you. We're gonna have to move on and
Mike, could I just make one comment, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Mike, if I remember correctly, you used to wear a brace for foot drop, and you saw the one that I had, and I have a second version of that now. Every 5 years, Medicare will allow you to get a new one. But you had remarked, you admired the one that I was wearing. And if you have Medicare, Medicare will pay for an AFO. The one that I have, I think if you want to just buy it yourself, it's on the order of about $1,200. But Medicare, if you have a foot drop and you can get it certified by your physician, Medicare will pay for it.
All right, thank you, Al. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to have to go to Glenn, who's Glenda Murbowski, who's got some updates for us. Go ahead, Glenn.
Sure. Just so you guys know, I mentioned Western Neuropathy and the various different support groups that we do online. You can go to www.pnhelp.org and either look at the support groups tab or the calendar tab and see all of those. But we're also doing something for our celebration of Nervember, which is going to start on the 3rd, and that is a scavenger hunt, where if you get through various rounds by answering questions about neuropathy and WNA, you will be put into prize drawings, which will be done towards the end of the month around Thanksgiving. We got a lot of prizes going out. There are hoodies and mugs and bags and neuropathy books. And I just encourage everybody to go to the website and check that out. And obviously, if you don't know the answers to some of them, you can look them up on the website. And that way, hopefully, you'll become part of the prize drawing towards the end of the month. For those of you who just want to know offhand, we do have the specialized groups going on. I put in the specialized CIDP autoimmune group into the chat. I'm also going to put our chemo-induced group into the chat in a second, which normally takes place on the second Wednesday of each month. But you can see all of these at pnhelp.org.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate that. Okay, now I'm going to go to Pat for some closing remarks. Pat?
All right. And Judd, could you bring up my wrap-up slide,
Yeah.
please?
Oh, sorry. I wasn't ready for you.
That's okay. Bill is just too efficient.
Yep.
There we go. And we'll go to wrap up 1 first. I usually try to end each month's meeting with updates on what's going on in the wider PN community. So this is a reminder that we will next meet on December 6th at 2 p.m., our usual time. The focus will be managing PN and maintaining hope during the holidays. And this will be an open discussion. We do not plan to have a speaker at this point. Though we found a chaplain last year who spoke with us, who I thought did a wonderful job. Just that whole notion of how holidays can be overwhelming sometimes and even depressing. So we're going to focus on hope and speak to each other and hopefully give each other a bit of a push for the December holidays and into the new year. The Bethesda Chevy Chase group continues to meet despite Steve having to take a leave from the group because of his own health issues. We are meeting next on December 18th at 7 o'clock. And the focus for that group is almost always open discussion, but we'll probably touch on the holidays at that group as well. Next slide, please, Judd.
Okay.
WNA, as you heard, Glenn has referenced pnhelp.org several times. Do you want to add anything about upcoming webinars or anything that people might want to write down? Glenn?
We're not sure if we're going to have a November webinar yet because of the Thanksgiving holiday. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing the 4th Thursday of the month, which is when we usually do it. It would probably be into maybe the first week in December, but you can always check back onto the website for that. And one of the other things you can do, which we actually have on the website, is check out our YouTube channel for all the past webinars that have been recorded and posted there.
Very good. And also, of course, you can go to pnhelp.org to get the listing of all of their wonderful and amazing number of support groups that they run for different focuses and also at different days and times if you don't find Saturday convenient. Excuse me. Next, I want to mention the Foundation for Peripheral Neuropathy is having a webinar on December 10th at 3:30 p.m. ET, and it's titled Inside Our Biobank, FPN's Peripheral Neuropathy Research Registry. And this is going to be presented by Dr. Hoke from Johns Hopkins, and accompanied by Adam Halper, who is on the board of FPN and also a participant in the registry. And they're going to explain more what the registry involves. If you become a patient or are seen at Johns Hopkins, you're asked to join the National Registry for research purposes. They'll explain it, how you get included and how you can update your information. And that's on December 10th at 3:30. Also, I wanted to mention still in November, on November 15th, there will be a screening of, quote, Only Lazy Americans e-bike. That's the intriguing title. And this is the documentary of Dr. Gregory Masson's historic journey across the continent to raise PN awareness and funding. He used a drone to record his journey and his interactions with PN patients from Washington to California. And it's finally ready for screening. This will be in person at the Merkin building, which is part of Johns Hopkins campus in DC. If you are interested, had followed him perhaps on his journey and would like to see the resulting documentary, or to register, you can go to events.jhu, Johns Hopkins University, .edu, and just search for e-bike screening, or take a picture of this slide right now so that you have the link to go to. And finally, just reminding you, please, to answer our exit survey. It will pop up as soon as you go to leave this meeting. And we're hoping that not only will you help us understand how these support groups help you, what takeaway you have from today, and also to answer the question about whether you think a program on cannabis is worth the time it would take to prepare for it and to actually participate in it. Please indicate again if you are willing to share your personal experience using cannabis. So that's the exit survey. And at 4 o'clock, we will go on to what is called overtime. We officially end the recorded part of our meetings at 4 o'clock, but all are welcome to stay longer for a more social aspect of our meeting. And you might want to follow up with an individual person that you saw or heard from earlier today. Remembering, if you want the saved chat, please put your name in chat right now. You can always, however, contact me at something called leader@dcpnsupport.org. That's actually our old address, but we still use it. And I will put that in the chat. leader@dcpnsupport. Whoops, it'd be helpful if I could spell .org. All right.
Okay, Pat, I wanted to mention one thing. Matthew Gilmore put in the chat that Nova NeuroHab is not accepting new patients according to website.
Oh dear.
So that's strike one, Pat.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't have time to check out everything, but
We're not sure. We'll do our best to find a better situation.
Yes.
Anyway, just circling back before we go to, as Pat described, overtime, I want to make sure if the new people got most of their questions answered. If not, please speak up and ask.
And please, if you're new, put your email address in the chat so we know how
Correct.
to contact you.
And
We-
Carol,
we will put the chat on the website, but we won't put your email address in there. Yeah, we edit the text before we post it on our website.
Because
Good
I've
percent.
counted 7 new people that we talked to, or people who were, came and went. But I just want to make sure that most of you all got your questions answered to your satisfaction.
And yes,
I had one question actually for Glenn.
right.
Glenn, you
Go ahead.
seem very knowledgeable about peripheral neuropathy and its causes and its effects. And I just wondered how you acquired all that good information.
I'm simply the fiercest autodidact on the planet. Joking aside, I do have a background in biochemistry. I am a neuropathy patient who had a very unusual presentation, which was acute onset and body-wide, for which no cause was ever found, although I've gotten some recovery over the years. And I basically did, for those of you who are familiar with Star Trek, the very first movie, I decided I was going to be V'ger, and in this realm, I was going to learn all that was knowable. Basically, it helps that I have an eidetic memory, but beyond that, it's just been 20 years of learning and advocacy.
Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate your input on all these subjects.
And remember the disclaimer, he is not a doctor, but he's
No,
very,
I
very,
understand.
very smart.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand.
and
Pat.
Carolyn messaged me, and I will be staying for the overtime.
Hey,
Okay.
Pat. Hey, Pat.
Yes.
You know, I didn't take notes when you were talking, but
Yeah.
did you say that there was a neuro PT in Alexandria?
Yes, and I put that in the chat. If
Okay.
you can find.
That's not that Dr. Ori Dahari, though.
No, Dr. Dahari has moved to New York. She is the one,
okay.
she is the one who is offering Tai Chi online.
I see.
And we just, since she spoke to the group, and Rebecca's actually worked with her, I decided to add that she needs 5 people to sign up if they are going to have the classes. So someone mentioned that they had done Tai Chi here and that the instructor had a difficulty with speech. And I think I probably went to the same person and I found it very hard to follow. So my Tai Chi experience was not helpful, but that doesn't mean that I won't try it again, especially these online options. It might be a way to do it.
So, Pat, is the name of the neuro PT in the chat?
Yes.
Oh, that,
Okay.
Nancy says it's not accepting patients anymore.
Wait, there are 4 up here. Please don't get it confused. Hold on.
Pat, I was thinking maybe you could just say the name too, because there was some confusion in the chat for me. I saw clearly on Falls Church, but
not the Alexandria one. Is that the one that you found is not taking people, Bill?
Matthew Gilmore wrote that in the chat.
Oh.
Matthew, are you still here?
The Novo Neuro Rehab that
Is no
specializes.
longer, he said, was no longer accepting patients.
Yes, that was the Alexandria one. So I'm sorry to see that. No longer accepting patients because they had a long list of conditions, including Parkinson's and others that they treat. So obviously them not accepting patients is an indicator there is not enough help for us out there, which is what I found with the aquatic PT. I loved who I was working with, but I could only get an appointment once every 6 weeks if I was lucky. So the message is work early and work hard. And once you find someone, make 6 appointments right in a row to hold your spot.
12.
Good
Okay.
advice, good
As
advice.
many as they'll allow you to do.
And make sure they code it correctly.
I don't know.
Or they'll be charged.
I don't know what it'd be like in other parts of the country, but I just Googled Tai Chi classes near me, and within about 15 miles, there were 17 entries listed of places where you could get Tai Chi classes. So now how many of them will be very accommodating for people who have balance issues? I don't know. If any, maybe some of them would entertain doing Tai Chi while sitting down or, or holding on to a rollator or a walker or something, but you should be able to find a class if you want to do it.
Well, all you have to do is call them and ask them and tell them and find out if they work with neuropathy patients.
Yeah, can I add?
Now,
there's,
okay, one last question, then we're going to overtime.
Okay, I just wanted to add that I came upon an excellent DVD, an instructional DVD for Tai Chi. They start with very basic, and they show the forms from different angles, from front, from the back. It's an excellent DVD, and I don't have it immediately available right now, but I can somehow convey the name of the DVD, and it is you can get it on Amazon. I'm not sure how I can, Pat. How can I convey that information
John,
about
do you
that
have
DVD?
John, do you have a suggestion?
Well, chat or just send it to one of us, and we'll well, I don't know how we'd make it available, but
Right.
I would say in the chat, Hal,
Yeah.
are you able to type in the chat?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it's going to take me a little while to put
Oh, I
my hands on the DVD.
Well, what about
If
yeah.
you will send it, if once you have the title and the information, if you send it to me at leader@dcpn.org, you don't have to do it immediately.
Good.
In the next week or so, send it to us and we can put it on the website at least.
Okay.
That would be helpful.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
thank you, Al. Thank you, Pat. I've got 4 o'clock, and so I'm going to, as Pat said, it's a social time, basically. Of course, you cannot bring a cocktail with you, but we will sit down and chat and cover anything that may come up. It's very informal and it's not recorded. So anyway, we are now going to, it's 4 o'clock. We have 30 minutes for overtime. So I'm declaring that we're going into overtime, and I hope to see you all there. If not, have a good month and stay safe. Okay.
And stay vertical.
Vertical.
Right, exactly. Thank you.
Oh, good to see you all. Good to see everyone.
Thanks for you.
Thank you.
Yep.